Multiple NXT stars are pitched for WWE call-up. Plus, a major Raw star has been announced for SmackDown tomorrow. And what was Stone Cold Steve Austin banned from doing at WrestleMania? It's all in the wrestling news right now. Multiple NXT stars are being considered for a pop-up to either Raw or to either SmackDown. And there's a few names in here. Some I'm not surprised by. Some are sort of in waiting anyway.
Yeah.
Some I'm not surprised by, but surprised by what they're doing. And there's one I'm really upset for.
Which is?
Well, we'll get to it. So, LA Knight's the first name. So, LA Knight, you're not a fan of...
There.
Really?
I think he's all right. He's just I don't know. Like maybe I've not seen enough of him as LA Knight because I'm trying to sort of stay on top of everything.
Yeah.
I think he's like great. I think that I've heard that WWE are really high on him, and it's somebody that I'm quite surprised isn't already on the main roster, where he can be being seen by many more people. So that just makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does. But as opposed to bringing him up in a wrestling capacity, the conversation, according to Fightful Select, is to bring LA Knight in as a manager, as a mouthpiece for somebody who may need that little bit of extra.
I mean, he's fantastic at talking, so it also kind of lends itself well to that. And I think that, just because he's brought in as a manager and doesn't necessarily mean he'll stay a manager. And we know he's a manager who will be able to get physical if the situation calls for it. So, yeah, not great, but I think... yeah, maybe it could transition into something nice from a managerial standpoint.
It harkens back to those rumors and those speculations about Adam Cole.
Yes.
But somebody who was very talented in ring, but they were solely going to focus on the...
Cut your hair.
Yeah, cut your hair and manage Keith Lee. Raquel Gonzalez is another name that has been pitched once again recently. And I say once again because Raquel Gonzalez's name keeps coming around in these conversations. I think since like sort of late 2020, there were people within WWE who were like, we need to get her on the main roster. We need to bring her up and push her a little bit further because from the moment that she landed in NXT, she was like a real standout. And according to Fightful, there's already been multiple pitches for Gonzalez to come up that haven't quite come to fruition for one reason or another. But she's an imposing figure, and I think that she would do very well on SmackDown.
Yeah, where does this leave NXT's women's division though?
Yeah, I mean, they at the moment, I think with Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, there's she's busy doing that. I think if they split that team up, I think you wouldn't have too much of an impact on the women's division, I think. But possibly reasons in the past for her not coming up because it would impact the division too much.
Yeah.
I think we're close to her being good to go away. The other two names are from Imperium, that being Gunther and Marcel Barthel, both being discussed for call-ups to the main roster. I'm sad for Fabian Eichner, who isn't in this conversation at all.
Well, no, he wouldn't look good in a flat cap and a vest.
Is that what they're thinking?
Yeah, that's what's happening. I'm telling you. They're their German cousins.
Oh, dear. Yes, they're high on Gunther, high on Barthel. Eichner, not so much by the looks of things, because Fightful is saying just those two of Imperium are being discussed for a call-up.
It's a bit annoying, that.
It is for Eichner,
I think Eichner's
especially.
somebody who's kind of consistently overlooked in a way. He's always sort of been the other guy in the situation, but whenever he's given a moment to shine, he tends to try and maximize it as best he can.
Here's the thing about Gunther lately. So Gunther on NXT lost very clean to Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
And Gunther now, in terms of his wellness, he's trimmed down.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he looks really ordinary now. I mean, is it just me? I think there's a lot of... There was when he came into NXT UK, there was a lot of sort of aura about him.
Look, Walter was very unique. In terms of his appearance, his in-ring style, his brutality, everything about Walter was unique. They stripped it all away. They called him Gunther, and now he's not going to be Walter. It's going to change, and it just doesn't feel... and it's cool that he's trimming down, bulking up, whatever. I'm still not over the name change.
Really?
I'm still not. I think it was ridiculous. I think it's up there with Butch. It's like everybody knows he's Pete Dunne. What you doing?
I think because the name Walter is so established.
Yeah.
Like, why change it? Like, I think because a few arguments I've seen online is if it was like, oh, if he went from Gunther to Walter, we'd all be laughing. But it's more about the establishment of that name rather than the name itself.
It's more like I don't know. I think the Walter was just quite unique as a talent, and I don't want to see him get lost in that mix. I don't want to see Gunther sort of just becoming just another face in the background, and so fingers crossed they're still going to be able to get out there and do what they do best, but it's still a bit annoying for Eichner.
It is indeed. So you could see those two on Raw and or SmackDown at some point, or those four rather. You will see on SmackDown tomorrow Seth Rollins, apparently. WWE advertising that Seth freaking Rollins is going to be appearing on SmackDown in Milwaukee. Now, we don't know what WWE have planned or if he'll even appear on the broadcast. We just know that he's advertised to be in attendance.
Yeah.
Now, this leans onto a few reports that have done the rounds lately that say that WWE are very aware that live attendance isn't great, and what they want is being.
You've seen a lot of half-empty arenas.
Yeah, it's not a nice thing to see. But the plan being to have Raw stars on SmackDown and SmackDown stars on Raw.
Yeah.
Even if they're not actually competing on the show, have them in dark matches and stuff to bring the crowd in. I think a big part of making Roman Reigns the uwu is to have him so he can go between both shows since he is the top draw in the company.
Well, that makes absolute sense. I think from a standpoint where it's not going to muddy things a bit too much, I'd say just save it for the dark segment, because then that he's going to bring in the live attendance, and they are going to have to wait until the very end of the show to see, that match with 6 Raw stars versus 6 Smack, like some crazy main event, and then just tape the bloody things.
Yeah.
Tape them and then put them on the network eventually as some collection. Like, just do something interesting with it.
Nice.
and just build it. Just, if you're going to, it makes sense to bring in stars to kind of cross promote anyway. And if people are going to maybe, if somebody does well in a certain market, then bring them in, give them a big main event dark match, have it for the title or something, and then boom.
Yeah. There's something. Yeah, I like that. I like you. What you're doing there is you're kind of incorporating these dark matches designed to bolster the audience.
Bring out the cell.
Into something
bring out the
story-wise.
cage. Just do some more ridiculous, because it's not very often, but they do it. They'll just bust out the cage for a dark match. Or
they do.
And it's like, just do it. Just bring it in, and those are the things where it's going to cost you a bit more to bring all of that equipment in and to suspend it, whatever. So maybe you can't do everything. Like, you couldn't do the Hell in a Cell. It would kind of cheapen the pay-per-view anyway.
Yeah.
But if you can do it in a way where it's pretty quick, doesn't cost you very much, and it feels special, that's the way you're going to get people in.
Absolutely. AEW Dynamite next week, we're going to see a title match. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy defending against Red Dragon. Is this the night that Red Dragon
kick both of their heads off?
Yeah.
Right into like Rose.
Yeah.
And then just pick up their bodies.
Yeah.
And then super glue them together.
Yeah.
And then just use them like a big stretch Armstrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I want.
That's what's happening. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Let's turn Luchasaurus into oil. That's what happens to dinosaurs, isn't it? Oil is just dinosaur juice.
It is. That is exactly what it is. So remember that next time.
Everything
you fill
plastic is dinosaur juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These aren't, though. These are available at cultaholicshop.com. Then they are as valuable as oil juice, as a dinosaur juice.
Oil juice.
Oil juice. Lovely glass of oil juice on a morning. So we'll see. I think this is the night that Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish
I want
those belts.
I want it. I love Red Dragon. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. I don't care. I want it.
Tell you what Austin wanted to do.
What?
At WrestleMania. Flip some birds.
Yeah, and middle finger at Steve Austin.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you may have heard this, but Pat McAfee goes into great detail about the banning of Steve Austin's middle fingers from WrestleMania. You may have noticed there was a less of it than few of them. I think he maybe got a few in there. And they got
quite a lot in there. They didn't get digitized live, which was great. They better not have digitized them, because they use the S word now on their own TV. What happens if I can't do that to you? Like, what? Oh. It's a finger. What does it matter? It's not like, spelling out an obscene word with your hands or whatever.
That's very true. Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show talked about the entrance run-throughs that they were doing for WrestleMania. So also the whole banning of the middle finger seems like it was something that Austin wasn't privy to until he was practicing his entrance. Because Pat McAfee says, we were working on coming out through the entrances. We're in a different era now than WWE was then. I got to watch Steve Austin's entrance within an empty stadium. He goes right to that top rope, both fingers straight in the air. He's doing his whole thing. And then I see producers running over to him saying, can't do that, can't do that. So
Skittles will be angry. No, don't do the fingers, Steve. Christ.
He does it again, and they go, no, you can't do that.
Snickers will be angry this time, Steve. No. So you're not you when you're hungry.
So eventually he just puts his fists up in the air, and even as we saw, he did a few anyway.
It's as bad as the New Age Outlaws entrance.
Oh, that was a shame, wasn't it? You better call somebody.
If you're using the S word on TV, a middle finger's applicable. That's fine. The P word is fine. You could.
And if you've got a problem with that, I've got a digit in here for you. Have a great day.
I was going to say, Tom, Skittles would not have been happy.
Stay safe. Love you. Bye.